Hey yo, what is up guys? Your boy's back, and I guess I got kind of a double header here because I got to review two Summerslam shows. So I'm going to start with, because I just watched the one Summerslam 2022, and that's the show that just happened, and let's get into it. So, show opened with Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair, and I found some people, they really liked this match, but I didn't really like it as much as a lot of other people did, because a lot of the things they did just kind of didn't make sense, and I wasn't really a big fan of some of the reversals and stuff that they did that just kind of came off not looking so good, like the KOD onto the barricade. After Becky had already hit the barricade, they're like, oh, she reversed. It's like, what? She kind of just smacked off the barricade. Or Becky working over Bianca's arm, and then Bianca's doing freaking handstand flips and stuff, and then it's like, oh, now watch, they're going to bring it back to the arm here later in the match, and then sure enough, oh, that injured arm. It's like, at what point was she showing her arm was injured? She never once showed the arm was injured. So, not the best in-ring psychology I really saw here. Really athletic, both girls are really good athletes and stuff, but just kind of like, I don't know. I find modern wrestling really hurts these matches, that they kind of put a lot of pressure on themselves rather than just having an actual wrestling match, instead of trying to be these Japan people or whatever the fuck. So I think they should just, focus on having really good matches instead of what they're doing now. So, moving on from that, we have Logan Paul versus The Miz, and it's hard for me to give a shit because it's Logan Paul, and I really don't give a fuck about Logan Paul, so it's kind of like, oh, whatever, Logan Paul is out there. It's not that he's not a good athlete, but I found even a lot of his stuff didn't really look all that good anyways, so it was just kind of The Miz and Logan Paul having a match, and I don't know, the frog splash that they announced was pretty cool, and yeah, I don't know. I don't give a shit about Logan Paul. I know what. Sorry, guys. I'm pretty tired here. I guess I know why The Miz is put in these situations, but I just don't give a shit about Logan Paul, and that's really all I have to say here. So, Bobby Lashley versus Theory, and here we finally got a pretty decent match here, and that was Bobby Lashley getting attacked early by Theory, and Theory having to take advantage after losing their last match. And then I really liked the ending of the match where Bobby Lashley caught him in the press. Theory did that rolling thing, the rolling dropkick or whatever he was going for, and then Bobby Lashley caught him, and then he pressed him up, and then he had him in the hurt lock, and Theory tapped, and then we're all expecting to see him at the end of the show, which we did. So, moving on to the Mysterios versus the Judgement Day. Again, the Judgement Day, another faction I just don't, another thing on the show I just don't find myself caring about. We have a okay women's title match, a fucking celebrity who I don't give a shit about, and a lot of people don't really like all that much, so that's what we have. And then we have a decent Bobby Lashley Theory match, and then next up we have the Judgement Day, a faction who I didn't really care about because I thought it was just a really weird start, and their whole aura about them, it was just weird, and here they lose at SummerSlam when they're just a new faction, sort of ish. They were together. It's their first it's their first true tag match together, in which they lost to the Mysterios after Edge came out, and that was a really cool moment with Edge, seeing him. Rey Mysterio did his thing here. I don't really remember Dominic being in the match too much now that I'm thinking back on it, and yeah, there was the whole mocking Eddie stuff going on. But yeah, again, just another kind of decent match. The Judgment Day they just seem really dead to me. They're not going to really go anywhere. They need some spark or something. This whole thing just really isn't working. So yeah, moving on from the Judgment Day here. Here we go, another match I didn't really care to see. Baron Corbin versus Pat Mcafee, and yeah, Pat Mcafee, he tried, but it was what it was, and yeah, I didn't really care for this match either. It's just another match I just did not give a shit to watch, and that's what this whole undercard just really, really felt like. A lot of matches I just did not care to see, and a lot of rematches, and yeah. So finally, here we go. Sixth match of the night, we finally get something we're seeing on the Stadium show, which is the Usos versus the Street Profits, and this is a really good match here. The Street Profits have really improved, and they had a really great entrance here with the Tennessee Titans cheerleaders and stuff, and yeah, the Usos, they just looked great. Just like absolute next level monster heels here. These guys, they really come off really monstrous and really tough to beat. And yeah, it wasn't as good as their Money in the Bank match, because their Money in the Bank match was really, really good. And this match here, it was just good. It was really solid. It was better than, I think, their Extreme Rules match from last year. I think I like this one a lot better than that one. But yeah, the Usos, they've just been on one of the best runs in the company. They're one of the hottest acts in the company, being part of the Bloodline faction. And yeah, pretty obviously, they're on one of the greatest runs of their career. And yeah, I've been a huge fan of that. And I was a big fan of this match. And then winning again with the 3D or the 1D, one and done, was really awesome. And yeah, I thought they might lose this match. So a lot of the near falls were like, they had some huge near falls. And Jeff Jarrett was the special guest referee for this. So that was pretty interesting to see. And yeah, so again, just a really good match here. Finally got a really good match here on this very expensive show. And so the next matchup we had Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey had her tapping out, working over the arm, and Liv tapped right before the 3 count. So very reminiscent of CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan at Over the Limit 2011 here. Or is it 2012? 2012, yeah. So it was a very reminiscent of that match there. So very good stuff. Well, it was good stuff. It was just like, it was a good little match, but like yeah, again, just like, it's like nothing like So finally we get to the main event. And oh my god, this is not what I was expecting. I was not excited for this show. And the whole time I was watching this, I was like, yeah, not excited, whatever, blah, blah. And it just, like, the whole, like, the matches weren't very good. Or it's not that the matches were bad, it's just that none of them were really great. And it's like, it's SummerSlam. And I've been reviewing other SummerSlam shows, as you guys will see, because I'll actually be uploading my SummerSlam 2002 review before I upload this one. So you guys will see all my SummerSlam reviews that I've uploaded. And anyway, so Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns comes out. I'm like, man, why is Roman Reigns coming out first? That's weird. And then Brock Lesnar comes out, and he drives a freaking tractor to the ring, which was really sick. And he gets in that, and it's like, oh yeah, this kind of reminds me of Kane versus Daniel Bryan at Extreme Rules 2014, where they had the forklift, and Daniel Bryan's diving off the forklift. And then Brock, he does his own introduction, and then after Roman Reigns' introduction, he Luthez presses off the freaking tractor, whatever, loader, right onto Roman, starts beating the shit out of him, and the whole time, this whole match is just nuts. It's not like nuts from the point, like, that people say this was over the top. Yeah, it had its over the top moments where it's like, but like, everything just looked so good and so cool, and it just came off like this monster fight that was going on. Like, a lot of, like, the near countouts, it's like, and the selling was just on point. It's like, oh man, Roman, he's not going to get back to his feet, and then he kind of, like, gets back up on noodle legs, and you're like, oh shit, how do you get back up from that? And then Brock's throwing him into, they fight out in the crowd, and that looked really brutal and painful, them fighting out there. Then they were fighting out on the floor with the tables and slamming each other through tables and stuff, and that looked brutal. And the steel step spots, and then finally Brock picks him up in the loader, and he dumps him in the ring, and then he lifts up the ring. This is where things do get over the top, I guess, but it's like, it's not too crazy considering some of the stuff we've seen in WWE matches with, like I said earlier, with Daniel Bryan, and probably some of the Stone Cold Steve Austin matches, or Mick Foley winning the championship with pinning The Rock under a forklift. So in terms of like what could happen, that was him lifting up the ring. We've seen the ring explode before, so I have no real issue with that. I can't really take issue with that because it's just so wildly entertaining and fun, and it doesn't take away from the competitiveness of their fight. So he got me there. So I was really into this. And then like there was the whole guillotine spots, and yeah, even those where Roman was just barely getting back up and Brock was just barely getting back up. And after the ring had been flipped, Austin Theory comes out, and then he gets beat up, and you're like, oh shit, is he going to cash in? And the Usos are out there trying to defend Roman. And this thing just came off like a war. And just a wild-ass fight. And yeah, this match was crazy. And then at the end, we have this wicked drama with Brock Lesnar and making this epic babyface comeback where he just keeps getting back up to his feet. He just keeps getting back up to his feet. And Michael Cole's yelling at him, please just stay down, Brock. You don't have anything left to prove, which is just adding and adding to this whole atmosphere of Brock constantly getting back up until Roman finally the bloodline finally buried him under the announce table and stuff like that, and all the written equipment. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Paul Heyman got sent to the announce table after trying to be like, here, you want the titles? I gotta protect my investment. Just take them and go. And then he gets F5'd through the announce table. So when I was like going through like scoring this match, like am I gonna call it a 4.5 star match? Is it a 4 3/4 matches? And then I was like just sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, that's a 5-star match. Think about it. The entire thing, you can't take your eyes off. It was a wicked brawl the entire time. It's insanely memorable. It has wicked star power. They helped sell out a stadium with this, and it's been a main event all over the world. And so it literally has it all. And there wasn't like one part where it's like, oh, that looks like phony bullshit, despite them being over the top and lifting the ring and stuff. So all the moves and the brutality of this match, I have no choice but to call that a 5-star match. It's wildly entertaining. That was a great match. I can't even stress that enough. This is probably match of the year right now. And we got some close ones between AJ and Edge at WrestleMania, the Usos and the Street Profits at Money in the Bank, and Seth Rollins and the Cody Rhodes trilogy. So have had all these really great matches in just the past 4 months here. So yeah, this is just a wicked match, and it definitely saved this show. Like, this main event alone made the show, like, I would have went, like, had I known, like, that was going to be that much of a wicked main event, I wasn't even expecting this to be that much of a wicked main event, and it was, and so I had no choice. I had to go all the way up to 5 stars with this, because that was that good of a match. It was that wildly entertaining. So, let me know what you guys all thought of the show. I personally just think it was pretty much a 1-match, 2-match show with the Usos and the Street Profits and the main event, obviously. So, yeah, let me know what you guys thought, and make sure you check out my SummerSlam 2002 review and my SummerSlam 2012 review. I'll be back up with my SummerSlam 92 review and the greatest match to happen in London video coming up here in the upcoming weeks, because we're heading into Clash of the Castle. So, be sure to check out those shows, and peace out, guys.